Mr. Mayor, if I could move letters E and F to the regular agenda, just for some clarification.
Okay. Very well. As to the other consent agenda items remaining, is there a motion on the table to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda, remaining items.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. So item number E, call for public hearing, community development block grant.
The only reason that I asked that to be removed is just so we would have a little bit more information about that, just for citizens' clarity. Could you explain what the CDBG grant does to for citizens, and if there will be any additional cost incurred to the town? And are there projects we are currently looking at with that will be heard about at our next meeting? Or, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. CDBG is short for Community Development Block Grant. It's a grant that goes through the Department of Commerce. So we've applied for these in the past. We've gotten a few, some we didn't get. What this public hearing is for is it's a requirement just to be able to apply for any CDBG funding. So it's more of just a preliminary step to allow us to proceed to the next step. There are some CDBG funds becoming available here in the next few months and later on this year. More immediate is what they call the CDBG-DR, which stands for Disaster Recovery. So it's for any units that were affected by Hurricane Helene. We do qualify under that. So we're definitely pursuing those funds as hard as we can. The other one is for infrastructure that comes out later this year. So we're also gonna try to pursue some funds for infrastructure improvements. We really don't know what that looks like yet. We just know that that'll be coming up eventually. So to be proactive, so that we are ready to pounce on those applications when they're available, we have to get this first step out of the way, the call for that public hearing.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And then the next one would be,
I think we have to vote on that one,
Yeah.
correct?
sorry.
Move on to the next one.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, so is there a motion to approve, call for public hearing for community development block grant?
So moved.
So moved. All in favor, raise your right hand. Oh, no, we don't have to do that, do we?
No, we gotta have a second.
We have to have a second. We have to have a second. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion approved, thank you. All right, number F, 7F, call for public hearing, development agreement with Burke County.
That again was me and Todd, or I'm not sure if it would be Bo or Todd who would explain. We just wanted to make sure that we wouldn't have the same situation as we had in the past with the settings, that the town is putting forth money that we would not be able to regain if something goes wrong with the contractors.
So the development agreement that we're currently working on does have protections in the town, in case the development does not go the way we anticipate. Depending on a lot of factors, that the risk could be almost nothing, or it could be a slight risk. Anytime you're dealing with economic development in the development, there's some type of risk, but I think we've mitigated it as much as we can possibly mitigate it. And we've got the county going in with us 50-50. So the little bit of risk we do have, we're splitting with the county.
I just wanted the citizens to
Yeah.
have that information
And
before.
it's a work in progress. We haven't got everything nailed down yet. This is just a call for a public hearing, so that by that time we will have it. And the attorney can talk to this better than I can, but I believe there's actually a state law that says we have to make it public before we can even hold a public hearing. So
And so there will be the performance bond that people have been, that some have questioned that if we
I
have that
don't know
or
if you
not.
really call it a performance bond, but they will be, collateral put up that supersedes the amount of money that we've invested in the project.
Yeah, and so I think you might have more clarity on it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Again, this is just to call the public hearing, and I did notice in my inbox, and I have not reviewed it yet, but I did receive a draft of the development agreement, and so I don't even have any level of detail to share with you right now, but at the next meeting, we'll have full detail to share.
Gotcha.
Good.
Make that motion.
All right. All right, so I'll call for a motion to, for the public hearing, development agreement with Burke County.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second? All in favor, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to this, let's see. Number 8, new business, state of the department, community affairs. Ms. Marissa Angie, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Presentation here. I'm over 40 now, so let me put these on. Let's see. Well, first of all, I wanted to share with you who makes up the Community Affairs Department. We have 3 full-time people that work there, myself included, and 3 part-time people. As you can see from the years of experience, I've had a pretty solid team for quite some time now. I'm very honored to work with them for all of the things that we try to accomplish with the department. So what is community affairs and tourism? A lot of people ask me if I know all the details about the affairs going on in the community. I get that joke quite a bit. But what we really are responsible for is public information, the Valdese Main Street program, tourism, and the Old Rock School and all of its functions. So you can see here, public information, we maintain the social media, our town websites, publication, and community alerts. For Main Street program, we're involved in business collaboration, economic development, and downtown statistics. For tourism, we work with event coordination, all the events you see in town, we have a hand in those and making those come together, attraction promotions, and also marketing plans. The Old Rock School, entertainment booking for our Bluegrass of the Rock series, facility management, facility maintenance, public rentals, and leases. So for the public information portion of it, I wanted to share with you some of the things that we maintain. Our website traffic for the townofvaldese.com site, we have 46,000 active users in 2025. And the top pages viewed were utilities, recreation, schedules and fees, career opportunities, and meetings and agendas. For our Visit Valdese site, that's our tourism site, we had 55,000 active users. And our top viewed pages were events and celebrations, Wild Indian Festival, McGalliard Falls, Bluegrass of the Rock, Family Friday Nights, and the Old Rock School. Our social media continues to grow as well. Our Town of Valdese Facebook page has 22,175,000 followers. That's up 5.3% since 2024. We've had 1,030 new followers, over right at 6 million views, 66,000 interactions. And then moving on to our electronic newsletter, that's the monthly newsletter that we send out to the public every month. That has over 12,500 subscribers. And on that, we have a very strong open rate of 30%. So those are the ways that we communicate with the public. So moving on to the Main Street program. These are free business opportunities that we give to our downtown merchants for how our department assists them in promoting their business and telling the story of their business, highlighting sales, and all different things like that. We do partnerships with them for different events. We offer a business vibes and breakfast that we've started recently, we had our last one on May 6th and had about 12 businesses come out. So pretty good attendance there. We're also working on some new promotions where we're gonna do story segments on our business owners to try to highlight the faces of our community. So we provide all of this information to each business. Every year in April, we walk around handing packets, remind them of all the things that we do to try to help support them. So the tourism side of the department, We do, like I said, event coordination, so the Friday nights, the fireworks, the leprechaun hunts, all of the little things like that that we do to bring people to town that are supporting our downtown businesses and spending money. So you'll see this ad here with the Valdese, that's from an Our State magazine ad. We also had several different rack cards that we put out to the public that try to support our downtown restaurants. And then also, like, I wanted to highlight here too, our out-of-market visitors for the year 2025, we had right at 400,000, which was an increase of 5.6 over last year. So real strong there. 2.9 million people visited. So how are these stats made up? People ask me that. Like, how do you know that it's not somebody just driving in town? We can take out people that spend less than 10 minutes in our downtown to get these stats. So those are removed. So for Valdese overall, in the year 2025, we saw 2.9 million visits. And then that was the increase of the 5.6 over 2024. And the average time that they spend in town is 134 minutes. Now, downtown specifically, this excludes like Lakeside Park, McGalliard Falls, we had 1.1 million visits and 204,700 out-of-market visitors. So that was an increase of 9.8% over 2024. And the average time they're spending in downtown is 73 minutes. I think that's pretty impressive for a town of 5,000. So anyway, I wanted to continue on with sharing some visitor statistics. So our peak days are all held in conjunction with town-sponsored events. So as you can see, that real tall peak there right in the middle, that is our Independence Day celebration. In 2025, we had 23,200 people in Valdese on that day. But that's not a record breaker. Actually, in 2023, I can go back all the way to 2017. So the highest that we had in that time period was 25,400 in 2023 for that event. So you can see our visitors are coming for our events. They're coming here, they're strong, they're spending money in our downtown, they're supporting our businesses and enjoying the amenities that we have to offer. Our top places that are visited are Myra's, 100 Main. I removed all the chains for this, as you can see highlighted there. Highlands, the hospitals in there is number 4. The Valdese Parks and Recreation, Old Rock School, Mountain Burrito, Osaki, Rock Drug, and Valdese Splash Park. So those are all the places that are top visited within downtown specific. Now moving on out and you look at McGalliard Falls Park, you have 112,100 visits, 63,800 visitors. Valdese Lakeside Park, 49,300 and 23,100 visitors. Temple Field, 42,900 and 10,700 visitors. At the Old Rock School, I'm really proud of how our Bluegrass at the Rock season has grown. This past season for 2025, we had 6 concerts. We had 137 season ticket holders. And because we're doing so well with generating really solid revenue, with this series, we have expanded the concert series to allow for 8 concerts in the upcoming season. And our season tickets went on sale for it actually doesn't start until October, but our season tickets went on sale in April for that season, and we've already sold 137. So we're already up to what we sold for last year's season. So very excited about that. We also have 16 season ticket holders for the upcoming season that are from outside the state. So people are driving here for what we're doing at the Rock School. We also have several different nonprofits that occupy the Old Rock School: the Valdese Rotary Club, Rock School Arts Foundation, Old Colony Players, Piedmont and Western Railroad Museum, and then we have businesses that lease space from us: Dream Connections, Vedic, Tranquility Day Spa, and Modern Treatment. Our upcoming event season is underway. It's going to be here before we know it. Our first concert of the year starts on June 5th. So we'll have a big kickoff celebration at Temple Field. Also, our Independence Day celebration is not too far after that on July 4th with the Tones. And then this year, we'll have the Valdese Festival on August 7th and 8th, and it does include a concert on Friday night and Saturday night this year. We're already selling vendor spaces for that. And typically, this event, it brings about 13,500 was our stat from last year. But it does pay for itself, all but pay for itself. So I'd like to share that with you as well. You can see that we're going to have Southside Station on Friday night, all kinds of lineup of entertainment all day Saturday, and ending with Cassette Rewind, which is an 80s group on Saturday night. We have one new event that's coming. We're going to partner with the Waldensian Heritage Foundation, Waldensian Museum, and Charters of Freedom to offer a Independence Day celebration, or not Independence Day, America 250 celebration on August 29th at the Rock School. We're inviting all kinds of different people to join us with this effort. We've got the American Legion coming out, a community choir. We're going to have people dress up in different costumes to have people come through and meet and greet with different figures from American history. So all in all, it'll be a great big event for us at the Rock School, concluding with a movie on Temple Field at 7:30. And I actually met with the Burke History Museum today and talking with them about a possibility for maybe even a mobile museum. There's 6 of them that are going around for the year 250. So maybe we can have them come join us for the event. Did I break records, Todd, or am I good? I know I didn't beat the Chiefs. Any questions?
I just want to say thank you for everything you do. I will say, I don't know if everybody, I think everybody up here knows it, but I don't think everybody in the community knows it. If there's ever an issue or ever a question or ever anything dealing with with one of the downtown businesses, my first call is to Marissa. And we went on many visits, and she does a great job with our downtown businesses especially. She does a good job with everything, but especially it's nice for the small businesses to have a direct line that they can go to for all kinds of issues that they run into, not just the typical ones that you might think of. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Todd.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. 8B, public hearing, rezoning of 0 Griffin Avenue. Since this is a public hearing, I will declare this meeting now open for public comment. And we have Mr. Rep in front of us, so please make your presentation.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Council. We are discussing a rezoning over here at 0 Griffin Ave. It's approximately a 15.8 acre tract. And the requested action is to rezone the property from M1, R12, and R8, though the parcel is majority M1 to the whole thing being R8. So here's that property location. It's on the west side of town. It is near what used to be Valdese Water Recycling and is across the street from Food Line on Bass Street and Dixie Avenue Northwest. The existing parcel is zoned for manufacturing use and is currently vacant. The owner of the property is Haynes Hen Farm Incorporated, and the applicant for the rezoning is KRP Investments LLC. They have an option to purchase the property, which allows them to apply for this rezoning. The intent of the rezoning is to build a multifamily apartment complex, and should the rezoning be approved, this proposal would be submitted again to the Board of Adjustment for the special use permit to allow for such a use. Like I said, the property is currently majority M1 with small pieces of R12 and R8, and the complex will consist of 3 three-story apartment buildings with 84 units total, consisting of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom options. Access will be provided on Dixie Avenue Northwest, and amenities would include internal sidewalks, clubhouse, playground, a picnic area, outdoor seating, and on-site dumpsters and recycling. Doing our due diligence on this property, we found out, and I think it's important to note that the site is designated as a brownfield site by the EPA. The specific designation associated with this specific site, which is outlined by DNR in their most recent land use restrictions update, dated January 16th, 2024, states, quote, "No use may be made of the brownfield property other than for office, warehouse, and industrial purposes with associated driveways and parking, and if the Department of Environmental and Natural Resources issues prior written approval, other commercial purposes." So this hearing, or this rezoning did go to planning board first. They heard it on their March 16th, 2026 meeting and voted 5-0 to recommend denial of the request to rezone the property. The planning board found the request to be inconsistent with the town's comprehensive plan and future land use map, and further found that the proposed zoning amendment was not reasonable and not in the public interest, citing the property's existing industrial designation surrounding land use contexts, potential land use conflicts with nearby industrial uses, and the absence of demonstrated changed conditions warranting the amendment. So here's that recommendation from the planning board. And here is a site plan of what the proposed development would look like. I'm going to discuss this more in a bit, but you see outlined in that dark green area, that's the 100-year floodplain that runs through the property. And with this graphic that they've provided us, you can see that all of the development of residential units will happen outside of that area. Here's a side view of what the apartments could look like. As a part of the requirements, we had to physically post this property. I posted it in 4 prominent locations, which can be seen here. And we advertised in the newspaper on 4/25 and 5/2, speaking to this public hearing occurring. And then I sent mailings to the following properties outlined there to your right in the pink. To the left, you can see the letters. And enclosed within this mailer was this public hearing notice, which had info on the public hearing, information about the rezoning, and a map outlining the area proposed for rezoning. So now we're going to get into review criteria. There's really 6 things council should consider in approving or denying this rezoning. The first of them being zoning and existing land uses in the general vicinity of the subject property. So to the north, it's all R12 and single-family homes mainly. To the east, it's mostly R8 and single-family homes. South, you have warehousing and industrial uses, and it's the same to the west, warehousing and industrial uses. Looking at the zoning criteria of the proposed district, so the R8 district, its intent is that the district shall provide for town-scaled residential development within walking distance of services. Streets shall be interconnected and a range of lot sizes is encouraged. The neighborhood residential district is to permit the completion and conformity of residential subdivisions. So the zoning adjacent to the neighborhood is currently R8, therefore the proposed rezoning to R8 would be consistent with the surrounding uses. Here is our permitted use table. You can see right there at the bottom, multifamilies outlined with requiring that special use permit in the R8 district. The next consideration would be traffic. So the way we look at traffic is you have DOT's daily average count, which they took last in 2024, and then you compare that, at least the way we're doing it, to the maximum daily capacity outlined in DOT's service manual. So the property has access in theory on Dixie, Griffin, and Bass, though the apartment only has one proposed entrance on Dixie. The street network in this area is gridded, making for multiple options for egress and ingress to get to the main thoroughfare of either Main Street West or secondary thoroughfare of Church Street Northwest. The NC 2024 DOT average daily traffic along Main Street West was 8,500 trips per day. Along Church Street Northwest, it was 2,500 trips per day. The neighborhood streets do not have any traffic count data associated with them, and there are no funded improvements to Main Street West or Church Street Northwest in the 24-23 NCDOT STIP. So based on those numbers, we compare those to the maximum vehicular capacity, which on Main Street was identified to be 10,300, and Church Street was identified to be 9,200. So given what the traffic counts are at versus the traffic that would be added, one could say that it would not be unreasonable, like traffic shouldn't be really a reason for denial. Our roads can handle the capacity. And here are those traffic standards. You can see a little bit outlined in the green, which ones I pulled from. Public services, these public services include water and sewer, police and fire protection. The proposed apartment complex would require water and sewer taps on site, and water and sewer is located in that area, so it could be done. And since the property is presently vacant, the development of the apartment complex would require additional police and fire protection, which could be provided. I showed that site plan earlier that showed the flood line or the flood hazard area. It consists of quite a large flood hazard zone that runs along the Dye Branch and flows directly through the center, though none of the development would take part in or require any floodplain permitting. The property is located within the Watershed 4 protected area, which follows the table below for allowable built-upon area. And their proposed development would take up roughly 13.3% of the property, so it would be low-density development under other residential for our watershed table of uses. And here again is that flood hazard map, outlining that flood hazard area. The final point to consider is the consistency of the proposed zoning with the Valdese Vision, a land use action plan. So you can see here the properties in that square on the bottom, and you can see it in that square on the top there. The future land use map identifies this property as industrial, and that was adopted in 2014 by the town council. So that industrial would not be consistent with the proposed rezoning. Other things to pull out of the Valdese Vision, a land use action plan, are comprehensive plan policies, and I've pulled some that can be viewed both as consistent and some that can be viewed as inconsistent to allow you to ponder on both. So for those that can be found consistent with the comprehensive plan and would generally align with an approval, we have priority 2, industrial development 2.1, continue to provide developers with incentives for adaptive reuse of vacant industrial sites. We have 2.3, keep an up-to-date inventory of industrial sites in and around Valdese that are available for development or redevelopment. Then we have priority 4, residential development 4.1, evaluate the town's development ordinances for areas that will help promote a diversity of housing choices. And then pursuant to 2.8.4D, you saw that future land use map. If the rezoning were to be approved, that future land use map would be considered amended and consistent in the case of an approval. And then here are some points that can be found inconsistent with the comprehensive plan policies, which would generally align with a denial. We have priority 4, residential development, 4.7, encourage the development of mixed use and multifamily housing in appropriate zoning districts. We have priority 6, general services, 6.10, discourage the extension of water and sewer lines into environmentally sensitive areas. And then we have priority 7, natural resources, 7.3, allow development only in areas of the town that have suitable soil and topographic characteristics. Finally, the town of Valdese future land use map identifies the parcel as industrial, and maintaining that industrial designation supports the town's long-range economic development strategy and maintains consistency with our future land use plan. That's really all I've got for y'all. I'm going to give Mr. Davis Ray, who's representing KRP Investments, a moment to come up as well. And after that, public comment will follow.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I appreciate your time this evening. I don't have a ton to add to the presentation other than the fact a little bit about us. So KRP Investments is a approximately 15 to 20 year development firm based out of Sunset Beach now. I'm with Winfield Forward LLC, which is a Jamestown organization who specializes in the development of housing, construction, and property management. Currently, we have about 7,000 units that we manage across the state of North Carolina. We have other properties under construction. So in representing KRP Investments, the one thing that I did want to add to the presentation, we have decided to reduce the development size from 84 units as proposed down to 52 units. That final plan has not been procured yet by our construction team, but our design team is working on producing that 52-unit plan, which we feel is more suitable, not only for the site, for the road situation, as well as the being adjacent to a residential neighborhood. So aside from that, the one thing I want to do is make myself available for any specific questions related to this request.
This is on a brownfield area.
That's
and my question would be about the safety
Right.
of building housing on a brownfield area.
So currently, and that's a very good point. Currently, we have 3 properties in our portfolio that we have gone through the Brownfields program and developed on in Kannapolis, Lincolnton, and now in Mooresville, North Carolina. So different things can qualify and quantify a Brownfields trigger, but it's not impossible. And so that's something that we've noted in our plans too. It would just require a work plan with NCDEQ if it was suitable. But at this time, we're trying to make sure that the entitlements are in place prior to going through the process, because it's a drudgeous process with NCDEQ. It can take months. And sorry, one other thing I'll add to that. a lot of times, depending on what has triggered that brownfields, whether it be contaminants in the soil, there may be some type of vapor mitigation system that's installed in the buildings, or even if it has to be adaptable to be added at a future use to keep the safety of the residents in mind.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, is there anyone who here wishing to come forward and speak with regard to this rezoning of Griffin Avenue? Please step forward. Yes, sir. You'll have 5 minutes if you'll state your name and your address. Thank you.
My name is Joshua Miller, live on 815 Tron Avenue Northwest. I've been in Valdese off and on for about 30 years. We just moved back to this address probably about September this past year. Neighborhood's great. Lot of elderly. We do have kids that go up and down the street, including mine. They ride their bikes, and we also got a swimming pool on our property as well. And I still, have kids that's a little bit younger. And that's kind of a concern for me as well, because it's literally in our backyard. And as far as, like I said, they play basketball going up and down the hill. My main concern with it is mainly the traffic. When you build as many units as they're talking about building, the safety of the kids, not just them, but our elderly as well. Like I said, it's a very good neighborhood, and the reason we moved here is because it is a safe haven for us. Valdese has always been the peaceful town we always want to retire from, and that was what we're looking at, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's just our main thing is the traffic. If you're building low income, you bring more people in the facility. Our kids still play out in the woods. The neighbors' kids still play out in the woods. We're trying to, just have a safe environment. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. The petition, sorry, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I forgot about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we had about 75 plus on the petition.
Okay.
That was opposed to it.
Okay.
So, yeah. Do I need to?
Yeah, she'll hand that to.
All right. First time here, thank you.
Yep. All right, anyone else? Okay, with all comments received on the Griffin Avenue, I will now close this public hearing. Council, you've heard all the comments regarding the Griffin Avenue rezoning. You have three options at this time moving forward. 1, to approve, 2, to deny, or 3, to table for further discussion at next meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the rezoning of 0 Griffin Avenue. I move the town council adopt the consistency and reasonableness statement for rezoning, finding that the request to rezone the property identified as Burke County, PIN 2733573-173, located at 0 Griffin Avenue Northwest, from M1 General Manufacturing to R8 Residential, is inconsistent with the Town of Valdese Comprehensive Plan, inconsistent with the future land use map, not reasonable and not in the public interest, and deny the rezoning petition. 2026-01.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor with denial, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion unanimous, it carries. Thank you.
Sir, thank you all.
Next, item 8C, public hearing food truck ordinance. Since this is a public hearing, I will now declare this meeting now open for public comment. Michael, you've got the floor again.
Thank you all. Like Mayor just said, this is a text amendment to establish a food truck ordinance and use specific standards for food trucks. So at the request of the town council, the planning board reviewed the potential adoption for food truck standards in the town of Valdese. These standards are intended to provide clear operational regulations, allow food truck activity in appropriate locations, support economic opportunity, and address health, safety, and welfare concerns. So staff and planning board reviewed multiple examples of similar regulations from other municipalities in North Carolina and developed a draft language tailored to Valdese. I will say that, these are discussions that went on far before my time. I believe planning board had discussed this for over a year in planning board meetings, and Mayor Huffman was a part of those discussions. So we rejoiced on May 16th when the planning board voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the food truck ordinance. This public hearing was advertised on April the 25th and May the 2nd in the paper, and here's a copy of that recommendation for approval. So looking at some of the stuff within the ordinance, we've got some definitions to get out of the way. So food truck is a licensed motorized vehicle or trailer equipped to prepare, cook, and sell food to the public. An operator is the individual that owns, manages, or operates that food truck. Public property is town-owned or controlled property, including streets, sidewalks, parks, and parking lots. And we'll get to this a bit later, but a private non-corporate event is a private gathering not sponsored, organized, promoted, or advertised to the general public by a business, nonprofit, or governmental entity. So we look at the food truck permit. They'll need to fill out that information on the left, which is mostly contact information and property information. Along with that, they're going to be required to submit a North Carolina sales and use certificate, an applicable food or health permit, vehicle trailer registration or vehicle or trailer registration, proof of liability insurance with the town as an additionally insured, approved grease disposal facility location, and a property owner authorization of the property that they're going to be on, and a site plan showing the proposed food truck location. These permits would be valid for 1 year, and they've got to be renewed annually. So here's a copy of that draft permit. Like I said, on the right are mostly things to fill out, and then the planning board on the left had asked for an informational packet to be included along with the permit. Rather than make a separate packet, I thought I'd just put the most pertinent information on the back there. So it's not a complete overview, but it's a quick glance to make sure they're staying in compliance. Part of those things that they need to stay compliant with are our operational standards, where our hours of operation are going to be 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. for food trucks. No drive-through or drive-in operations are permitted. They're required to provide their own waste receptacles. They've got to have trash cans. There shall be no disposal of grease, liquid, or solid waste onto public property, streets, storm drains, or sanitary sewer systems. Signage will be limited to signage on the truck and one portable menu sign, which I believe is capped at 15 square feet. There shall be no permanent outdoor seating areas, and they must comply with noise regulations. We've got some safety and utility standards as well, so they're going to be required to have the right kind of fire extinguisher, no temporary potable water connections. Plumbing and electrical hookups must apply with building code requirements, and there will be no direct electrical wiring hookups. So essentially, food trucks must supply their own power source, and lighting must minimize impacts to adjacent properties and motorists. Locational standards, so about where you can place them. So food trucks that are serving to the public will only be permitted on private property in the following zoning districts, which is B1, B2, OI, and M1. And food trucks would not be permitted on public property unless authorized through a town event, where you would think the Valdese Festival or something of that nature, or a town rental or lease, where you might look at the splash pad where someone may rent it out for a birthday. They could have a food truck there without a permit, as long as it was not selling to the general public, so long as I can't walk up there and buy something. Food trucks may not obstruct drive aisles, loading spaces, emergency lanes, fire access, building entrances, ADA accessible parking spaces, etc. You can only have one food truck per quarter acre of lot area, and then you need a minimum of 20-foot separation between permanent structures and another 20 feet between food trucks on the same property. So you could have 2 food trucks on a half acre. They got to be 20 feet apart, and they got to be 20 feet away from any buildings. Food trucks and trailers, so we talk about restaurant or location standards. Then we have one specifically for restaurant separation, where food trucks and trailers may not be located within 50 linear feet of a restaurant's primary entrance during that restaurant's operating hours, and that's 50 feet basically as the crow flies, unless the food truck and restaurant are under common ownership, the restaurant provides written permission, or the food truck is located in a town-authorized special event location. This ordinance would not apply to, as I stated before, food trucks operating as a part of town-sponsored festivals or special events, so 4th of July kind of thing, operating as a part of events on town property under town authorization. That's that lease, birthday party with our town facilities. And then food trucks operating as a part of private non-corporate events, not open or advertised to the general public. So this covers, say for example, if Meridian wanted to have a food truck out there to serve their employees, they could not then also serve the general public unless they had a permit. This also speaks to birthday parties. If you have a birthday party at your residence, you can have a food truck there, and it does not require a permit as long as it's not serving members of the general public. That's really all I've got, unless y'all had any questions.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward to speak with regard to the food truck ordinance, please step forward. Seeing none, with all comments received on the food truck ordinance, I will now close the public hearing. Council, you've heard all the comments regarding the food truck ordinance and the recommendation from the staff. May council, you have the opportunity to approve the proposed text amendment or deny the proposed text amendment or table the item for further discussion. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to adopt the proposed consistency statement dated May 11th, 2026, containing the agenda materials, and to approve the proposed zoning text amended to the Town of Valdese Unified Development Ordinance establishing use-specific standards for food truck operations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I would just like to comment, I would like to commend the planning board for presenting this plan. I mean, it seems well thought out and organized.
Yeah.
And so I think I think it's good that we're finally addressing this, that I know has been hanging around for several years, actually, not just the last year. So I thank you and I'm glad we're moving it forward.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Not? Those in favor, raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
And I would
Michael.
give a big thank you to the planning board as well.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely,
awesome.
thank you. Good news. Okay, all right. 8D, approval of amendment to council rules and procedures, and that goes on me. I would like to propose a slight adjustment to the order of our agenda. I believe this will help meetings run more smoothly while also allowing citizens who wish to speak, as well as those involved in presentations, the opportunity to do so in a meeting so they can exit after they so wish. I have Michael to present those on the left here. You see the current agenda that we're operating on as of tonight, and the new one on the right-hand side there. So just a few cosmetic changes to the format structure.
I like the fact that this moves our public hearings up to the, near the front of the meetings, along with the public comments, so that if members of the public do need to leave, they can come to our meetings and they can comment, and then they can go on their way if they so need to.
It has been recommended, therefore, that the council update the rules and procedures, Rule 6, Order of Business, to improve meeting efficiency and better accommodate guests. Can I have a motion to approve the recommended changes to the council's rules and procedures?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor? It passes. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Item 8E, approval of resolution amending water shortage response plan. Mr. Herms.
Yes, while we're dealing with this the drought and moving to different stages, we reviewed our Valdese water shortage response plan dated, August 29th, 2023, in accordance with General Statute 143-355 I. There's nothing material that's changing, but instead of listing people's name and email, we want to list their position and phone number. Both of the people that was listed in the plan no longer work for the town. Therefore, every time we have a change of position, we don't have to go back and change this or this resolution. We also cleared up a little bit to make sure that there was some clearer language regarding temporary and permanent swimming pools at residential homes as well. That's the only real change. Materially, nothing's changed other than the contact information and clearing up whether or not a swimming pool was included or not.
So the swimming pools does not include the rec pool?
So under stage 2, it does not include any commercial pool. So if we had a Y, if we had if the high school had a pool, something like that large groups use, and it's part of a commercial business, it does not. Later stages would. But saying that, we're being as conservative as possible.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution amending the water shortage response plan?
Make a motion to approve the changes.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I want to add one more thing,
Yes,
because
sir.
until we come out of the drought situation, the splash pad is not included. So the splash pad will not turn on until we get down, but the pool will stay up. The pool uses significantly less water than the splash pad.
Does it help having the bubble on to not have as much evaporation? Can I ask? David
Yeah, I
that?
don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I assume I know the answer, but I ain't one of this.
Short answer is yes, it does. But as we get into the warmer months, it's not going to be pleasant in that space.
It's really hot.
Yeah, I think those that were there for the ribbon cutting,
Yeah, it's very warm.
that was, it was a little, it was like being a little bit in a sauna that day. But the water was great, just on the deck, not so much. Yeah.
Hopefully, we will not get into any further droughts. And we're lucky in this area of the country, we don't have as many droughts as other places. So hopefully, we'll go back into stage 1 soon and then back out of drought conditions totally. But we are monitoring it and we are addressing it every way we can, especially when it comes to recreation and the pools. And I mean, we're not even washing town vehicles right now, so.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Need to get a vote on approval of resolution amending the water shortage response plan. Those in favor, raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Todd. 8F, approval of resolution authorizing upset bid process, 0 Praley Street Southwest. Mr. Weichel.
Okay, so gonna offer on this property on Bradley Street. Excuse me. The town's owned it since 2012. It's slightly over an acre, 1.04 acres. Serves no purpose to the town at this time. The appraised land value per the GIS is $32,476. And again, we've been offered $20,000 for the parcel. The bid deposit has been received, so this is just a resolution to authorize the upset bid process, see if we get any other bids on the property. And then, if not, then we'll bring it to council for a resolution to authorize the sale of the property. So this is just the first step.
Just want to clarify that if there are no upset bids, we do not have to accept that amount if we do not want to, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Very well.
This resolution basically just says we're willing to sell it if the price, you know, and it starts the process. If it comes back, no matter what the price it comes back, council has the final say, not on this one, but on all upset bid process.
At this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the upset bid process for 0 Praley Street Southwest.
So move.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
The sale of this property, the proceeds would go towards public safety.
It- It would just go back into, general fund, and then we can direct it to wherever you would like for it to go.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean, at the
place
end
it
of
in
the
the
day,
public
yes, but-
safety fund.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Any further discussion? Those in favor of approval of resolution authorizing upset bid process, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks. All right, stand right there. I got another one for you. All right, approval of resolution authorizing upset bid process for 215 Main Street.
All right, so this is the building there on Main Street that we're all familiar with. We do have an offer in hand now on that building, so the offer amount is $360,000. The bid deposit has been received, so again, this is just a resolution to start the bid process to see if we get any other bids on it.
And this is the Mitchell Building.
The old Mitchell
Okay, the
building,
old
correct?
Mitchell.
Yep.
I
Oh,
make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the sale.
very well. Do I have a
Or
second?
the
Second.
upset bid process.
Second.
Have a second. Discussion?
This goes into public safety, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, because, yeah, you'll get
Just
there.
want to make sure this is going to public safety.
All in favor of this resolution, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
That's what it came out of.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Bo. All right, and you're still standing there. Let's, 8H, approval of capital project ordinance, Children's Park upgrades.
So this is to set up a capital project ordinance for the park upgrades. The park is 53 years old. It needs some attention. The stream bank, it's collapsing. There's some playground equipment that needs updated. So this kind of just gives a revamp of the park. The good news is that this is all being done through grants and private donation, so there's no cost to town cash for this. So all this is doing is set up the project ordinance so that we can legally receive the funds and expend the funds.
Very well. Can I have a motion to adopt this ordinance and set up the proper accounting to finance for the park upgrades?
So move.
I have a second.
Second.
Discussion?
I've had several calls about the children's park equipment from parents, so I'm very glad to see that we're going to be able to do this and upgrade the equipment and fix the areas at the children's park.
Those in favor, raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Very well, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bo. right. Number 9, managers report.
Yes, we have numerous events scheduled throughout the month of May. There's a calendar included in your reading material for the public. It's on the website. The town offices will be closed on Monday, May the 25th, in observance of Memorial Day. The next scheduled meeting has now been changed to Thursday, May the 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers here in this room and in this building. And that's all I have at this time.
All right. Number 10, council comments, final closing comments.
I just want to say I do so very miss our very own Jean Marie Cole. This is the first meeting that I have been at that she was not there, and it was a little sad tonight to look over and not see her sitting there. She definitely loved this town, and it's people like that who always want to come and contribute their thoughts, and that we appreciate. And I just want to give my sympathy and condolences to her family.
I agree, Ms. Cole will be very missed by this council.
Comments there?
I think that there's a lot to look at as a council over the next couple of weeks. I've been looking at it since we had our meeting last month, and there's still some things that I just have a lot of questions about, and I just want to be very transparent to our community as well, that, you know, we don't sit up here and, as a board, and it's not an easy decision to look across and see so many people, you know, that work for our town and our community. And as much as we need a public safety building, I also feel for all of our town people that, you know, work for us very hard day in and day out. And so I'm also looking into everything that is going to be involved with moving forward for you as well. So I just want everybody to know that your concerns are heard. Thank you.
Just a few things I've got. We want to recognize June Bell Homes. I did a ribbon cutting last week, new Main Street business, so we wish them very well. Also, I attended, myself and Rexana, we attended the Fun Fish. I think it was the 47th annual, if I got it right, with all the volunteers and the rec department led by Dave there. We greatly appreciate what it was. It was a great opportunity for the kids to go out there and the eyes and see their parents watch these young kids catch fish and all that for the first time. So it was a Kodak moment, and hopefully something they can carry with them going forward. And finally, I went to Jethro's. I got to finally go over there, and I got to play bingo with the Agape ladies. So I'm officially ordained as a new member, and so I didn't win, but somebody didn't win. But I had a great time, and I got to meet your mom and dad, and thank you. All right, that's if there's anything else. If not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.